log in and everything.
Good afternoon and welcome to Motivation Speaks with Angel Ferguson. We thank you for joining us on this Monday, September the 25th, 2017. Our quote for today is, "I was because I did, and now I am because I can." And this quote is being derived from our mentoring program here at WTI Productions. Our subject is pros, cons, and the reality of your delays. Sometimes we have thought about the vision, talked about the dream, and have planned our next goal, yet have refrained from making any moves. And I gave our mentoring students a homework assignment this week, and it is to step back and understand why we started to pursue our goals. Our coaching methods used within our mentoring program are extracted from the experiences of starting and stopping several times until finally accepting the purpose and running from it was no longer an option. My pros were, I allowed my full-time job to finance my dreams. My cons were the limited amount of time I had because my business was part-time, and my reality was that I was not consistent. And as time passed, I worked longer hours to pursue the passion of publishing. The truth is, I had finally accepted what it was going to take to push me past my pros and cons and accept my reality. That reality was that it needed to become more than a conversation, more than a thought or a plan. It was time for me to carry out my purpose. So we encourage you to look at your pros, cons, and face your reality as to where you are. We would love to connect with you, our listening audience. You can connect with Motivation Speaks with Angel Ferguson via Facebook, Twitter, Google+. You are also able to listen to our live podcasts via iTunes, our YouTube channel, via iHeartRadio under the Balance of Life. And we also have our series on recorded CD. You can request a copy of this CD by emailing us at afergusonwrp@yahoo.com. Our mailing address is 7402 North 56th Street, Suite A and B, Tampa, Florida 33617, and our telephone number is 813-336-2181. During our live podcast today, we have a special guest, as we mentioned on last week, representing SMP. And here today we have with us Ms. Shawn Windless, and she is here to discuss the importance of how to prevent healthcare fraud. So we'd like to welcome Ms. Shawn to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you, Miss Angel.
You are welcome. So we're going to pretty much allow you to give us some insight about what SMP is all about, the program itself, how we can assist in preventing healthcare fraud, and upcoming features that we can expect within this program. So why don't we start with you telling us about SMP?
Great. Thanks again for having me here. SMP is very vital to our beneficiaries. We're federally funded, and we're in all the states. We're a nonprofit organization. But what we actually do is we empower beneficiaries, their friends, their family members, health caregivers, on how not to become a victim of healthcare fraud. We do that several ways. One being the media,
Okay.
your online show. So this is great. We love this kind of format to get our information out. We do that through the community and outreach, church, just anywhere where there's beneficiaries, and we can get this important information out to them. We want to limit, of course, the healthcare fraud because it's a big deal. You really wouldn't think about it until you really got involved being a volunteer or working with our organizations. It's in the millions, and I do mean millions.
Okay.
The seniors are, of course, number one because they're responsible for 70% of our wealth.
Right.
So, of course, everyone targets them. They have a soft heart. They want to speak to you. They always want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So people really take advantage of that. I often tell my seniors, just like we get up, they get up and they start their day and they go to the little games they play and have different activities
Mm-hmm.
in their facilities or homes. People get up to scam the same way.
You're absolutely right.
It's a 24/7 job. They actually formulate, just ways to scam them, to take over. It's not a whim. It's actually a business.
That actually, it's not alarming. It's disheartening.
Yes.
Because I always say the amount of time a person puts in to put a scheme together.
Yes.
You can take that same knowledge because you're very intelligent to do that, to put it towards something positive.
Exactly, and persuasive. Yeah, most definitely. When you sit around and think about how you can go to Publix or to the grocery stores, other grocery stores, or CVS, and meet up with some seniors and try to scam them and offer them something, or call them up or knock on their door and do something deceitful. Like you said, you could be doing something that's worthwhile. I mean, really, when you just take time to build up, because you really have to take time to build that business in order to fraud the government.
Right.
So why not do the right thing and continue to help people and get paid doing so? But we wouldn't fully understand that because we don't take part in it.
Right. Right. And it's good to have someone. I know for me, for my parents, they live in New Jersey, and from here I handle their business.
Mm-hmm.
So like the other day, my mom said someone kept calling her cell phone and asking for someone else. Well, what does she do? She calls me, she gives me the number.
Mm-hmm.
I call to check it out. I control their email. So no, you're not going to get them to respond to an email because I'm the one on the emails. I've taken over paying accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that people set out to defraud.
Yeah, they do. They do. They really do. And kudos to you that you would even take the time to contact your parents on a regular basis and take care of their business. I'm sure a lot of people do that, but unfortunately not enough.
You're right.
Some of the seniors, they don't have as much contact as they wish, with their family and children. And some, they might be gone on. They might have already transitioned and they're just here alone.
Right.
So to have someone like you to really take care of their affairs, I know they're really glad about that. And like I said, that's a good thing that you're doing for them. But for the ones that don't, they really need to reach out to a caretaker, to a neighbor, to someone at church, really to run something by them before they make major decisions. Test their gut. If they have a funny feeling, if they just, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't sound right, let me check it out. Don't be pressured, don't be pushed into doing anything. Give it 24 or 48 hours.
Right.
If someone call you asking to confirm your information, no, you called me, you give me my information, and I'll confirm it.
Which is one of the biggest scams, that someone will call you and when they say, can I speak to such and such, and you say you have the wrong number, I immediately hang up at that point. But you have some, if they can get that edgewise in to say, well, what number did I call?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Or get you to say yes.
Right.
And it's a recorded yes.
Yes.
And then they attach that to something else, to a product or, a membership or something that you did agree to whatever they're trying to sell.
Right. But to me, the biggest one is what number did I call?
Yes, most definitely. Or saying your name.
Right.
To kind of maybe saying it halfway or saying it like they're a friend. a family member,
Right.
you know what I mean, trying to cozy up to you. Yeah, there's all sorts of, tactics they can use. Some people even want to sound professional, very professional. So you really do think, oh, this is a real company. This may be the IRS. Some people calling things, this is the IRS. This is Medicare. All of that. But unfortunately, not so. Not so. Um, and that leads me into my next thing, saying the new Medicare cards are coming out. Yay, the Medicare cards are coming out.
Okay.
They will no longer have your, excuse me, your Social Security number on there.
Oh, good.
No longer. It's going to start April of 2018 through 2019 in April also. That the cards will be coming out. So beneficiaries, please look out for them. No one will be calling you. No information will be changed. No
Okay.
services will, nothing. It's just a number that's going to be significant to you, other than your Social Security number.
Okay.
And that's going to be it. Just still keep it close because things can be done. You never know.
Right.
But that number will be removed. So we're real appreciative of that.
Okay.
And I think that's going to, as a matter of fact, I know that's going to cut down on a lot of fraud because that really feeds into a lot of fraud because they will approach beneficiaries and say, well, let me use put your card for a drawing. Put
Right.
your card in this drawing, you'll win this. You'll get this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Let me give you this test, and then let me take your number, and then Medicare will pay for this, and that sort of thing. Let me give you this back brace, knee brace, shoes, whatever.
Things
And
that they
Medicare will
would,
pay for this, right?
things that they know that are interests of the elderly.
Exactly.
That's what
Yeah,
they trigger
needs.
on.
Yeah, they're trying to meet a need, or they will say that it's something that's noticeably needed if they see someone, maybe walking slow or limping or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when they turn that report in, it could be something totally different. Totally different. Okay, did you get a shot or did you get surgery? Which one was it? It's a big difference. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And unfortunately, I really found it astonishing that it's the 2%, people that are already in the 2% of wealth. So why go deeper? Why take it any further? But unfortunately, a lot of times it is our doctors. That's why we really stress to check your summary notices, look at everything. If you don't understand them, like I said, let someone that's a caretaker, that's a friend, that's a family member, really check everything to make sure whatever service they said that you were rendered, you actually got that service.
Services. Okay.
That many services, that many times, whatever it be, or you visited them that many times, whatever it is. I don't care how big or small it is, up to surgery. Check it out. And a lot of times, it could be an error. It really could be a mistake because, we're all human.
Right.
We make mistakes. We can push the wrong.
How to protect our elderly from healthcare fraud, and she is leaving us some pamphlets and some other information that if you would like to receive a copy, please email us at afergusonwrp@yahoo.com. You can visit us here at the bookstore, Motivation That Inspires Bookstore, to pick up a copy. And as we have some upcoming events, we will put these items in our goodie bags to share. It's some very, very valuable information. It's under Protect, Detect, and Report. And I was reading over this. One of the bullet points, it says, treat your Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security numbers like a credit card number. Never give these numbers to a stranger. And you want to expound on that?
You're correct. And that's really, that's the main reason why they're changing everything. Because, unfortunately, a lot of our beneficiaries didn't even realize that was their Social Security number. Because there's other, number they in front of it, behind it, or whatever. But it actually is, and you really had to treat that like a credit card.
Okay.
Really, you really did. because that would cut down on personal theft and identity theft and all of that. But that's one reason, one of the main reasons it's being changed, because it's just so easy to defraud Medicare.
Okay.
When that number gets into the wrong hands.
Okay. Here's another point for all of us to remember. Medicare doesn't call or visit you to sell you anything.
Exactly. No, they don't. They really don't. A lot of people may call, and like we mentioned earlier, that would be part of a scam.
Mm-hmm.
Where they would call and say they're from Medicare, or a lot of times, and I know we've all been guilty of that. You'll see a sign and it resembles a sign that you're used to seeing.
Right.
And
okay.
you just assume that's the same thing. And it really isn't. You really have to look twice or read the fine print. So they might even call you with a name with Medicare in it.
Okay.
Something like to sound
okay.
like, okay, this sounds legit. This is Medicare calling, checking up on me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, not so. No, they can do that. And but at the same time, that's not Medicare, and they're up to no good, unfortunately. Like I said, everybody that calls you, I wouldn't say they're up to no good. Of course not. Some
right.
people, we're out here, for us, for example, we're really here to help you. A lot of times when the seniors hear our name,
mm-hmm.
Medicare fraud, patrol, that sort of things. They're like, oh, are you here to give me a report card?
Mm-hmm.
You here to, do something, take out the white glove or something. Not
right.
at all. No. We're merely here. We're your friends. We're merely here to educate you, just for outreach. We do have a 1-800 number,
okay.
and the seniors love this number. The beneficiaries love this because
okay.
a live person answers the phone, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And it's not an automated service, and we just love that. I love that because I'm not even a senior yet. Well, almost. I'm knocking at the door, but a lot of times it's frustrating.
It is.
When it's recorded or someone you really can't understand,
right.
and it's just a lot. But that number, if you don't mind, Angel,
no, go ahead, give that number out.
It's 1-877-272-8720. That's 1-877-272-8720. And you can also visit us at stopmedicarefraud.org.
Okay.
Like us on Facebook or visit our website as well. But you can call that number, and like I said, a live person answers that phone, and if not, they will be getting back with you within 24 hours. And you can ask them any question. No question is too big or small. Honestly, just give us a call.
Okay.
Really, we will help you in any way we can. And if it's something that doesn't pertain to us,
mm-hmm.
we can put you in contact with the people, that will help you. So please don't hesitate to give us a call.
One of the items that we do have here is recording your doctor visits, tests, and procedures in your personal health care journal or calendar. And we have a few of these that we would love to give to you, and so that you can put your information in here and only share with a trusted ally,
mm-hmm.
so that everybody does not need to have this information. And I think as we all get older, we want that backup.
Yes, we need that. I love this because you can put everything in there. Who remembers everything when you go to the doctor? No one remembers that. And the things you do remember, you forget. You're rushing, or you have to wait when you get there. You're nervous. You have to have your pressure taken. Just
mm-hmm.
everything. It's just too much.
Right.
So this is very well done, where you can just document any questions you may have, any symptoms, any problems, the answers that the doctor gave you, explanations, surgeries, allergies, dates, everything you can put in this book. So that way, and keep this, a lot of people keep this maybe in the kitchen in a drawer, somewhere they can remember where it is. Some people keep it in the glove compartment, but just somewhere where they can put their hands on it.
Right.
Every time they need to. So if there's any question of what meds they're taking or anything, if they switch doctors, they have all the information right here. They won't be misled. And even more importantly, God forbid, if something were to happen in the home,
Right. I was just getting ready to say
right,
that.
the medics would have the information right here, so they would know what they wouldn't have to guess what you're allergic to or what meds you're taking. They would have all this right in this one little book here, this personal health care journal.
That is good to know. Another thing that it points out that the pamphlet alone gives a lot of information that even I wasn't even thinking about. Looking at your statement for three very important things: charges for something you didn't get, billing for the same thing twice, services that were not ordered by the doctor.
Exactly. Because all those things can happen. So we really urge everyone. I mean, be an advocate for yourself.
Correct.
Really, because no one knows like we know. Be an advocate for yourself, a healthcare advocate for yourself if you can. For the ones that can't, of course, like I said, friends, family members, caretakers, but really take the time to look through those summary notices. And really that will really ignite you being on guard for other things as well, like your credit card statements.
Yes.
Like your bank statements. Like when you go to the gas station and you use your card, on the outside. And sometimes there's a camera there, or you never know, your identity has been taken. So yes, that really just heightens your senses for, yes, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. Just put everything in line just to really protect yourself.
And you really have to. I do know for the credit card side, it's been a couple of years ago, but even in Orlando, Florida, visiting the restaurants, I did not know it, but the person at the table that's paying with the card, all the gratuity goes on that card. I found out the hard way. We left a tip on the table, but they attached the tip, the gratuity, to my credit card.
Oh, really?
Yes. Even though on my slip, I actually crossed a line through the tip and only put the amount. But because I have a habit of, I pay attention to my statement, and there's certain cards, whenever it's used, I have it linked for a text message.
Oh, okay. So it alerts you.
So it alerts me every time my card is used, and I get a daily balance.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I need to do that. You're good, Angel.
And it's because we get so busy, and a lot of times when that statement comes in, it's at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month, and you have forgotten.
That's true.
So immediately I can narrow it back to, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, and then I had my copy, so I was able to rectify it. No, you don't get 2 tips.
Right. You were good, but okay.
You weren't that good. So that's very important. And I want to give out this telephone number again.
Please.
In the report, it says if you are not comfortable calling your provider or plan, or you're not satisfied with the response you get, call your local SMP. That telephone number is 1-877-808-2468. And we will give that telephone number again throughout the live podcast. This is great information. So for those of you who are reaching your elder years, or you are taking care of loved ones, this is something that you definitely want to think about to protect them in the long run. It's I know a lot of times our elders feel we're prying into their business.
Right, sometimes.
But it is for their protection. Like I mentioned, I take care of so much for my parents that, and it's funny, but if they're looking for a cable, I think a couple of weeks ago, they were looking for an antenna. Do you not know they called me from Walmart?
Oh, that's great. I love it.
They called me from Walmart because I sent them the direct name and a picture of what they were looking for, and they didn't see it in the store.
Okay.
So I get this call, and my mom says, we're in Walmart, her and my dad. And the next voice, she said, I'm going to let you talk to the sales clerk. And I guess he probably thought, are they serious? And not only that, but I'm in Florida.
Right.
And they're in New Jersey.
Right.
But I told him what I needed him to look for, and he said, "Oh, we no longer carry that model." Okay, thank you very much. But nothing that I'm too busy for.
That's good.
That I don't, now they do know the time that I'm on the air.
Right.
But I know if they called me during those times, it's very important. So as soon as I am off the air, if they call me back to back, you guys are going on mute.
Right. Amen.
Because I need to find out what it is that they need. But I thought that was the funniest thing, and I bet the guy was like, "What?" So, but
Right.
yeah.
That's beautiful. That's great, really. And I would just charge the audience, really, just to reach out to your parents. If you're talking to them often, taking them out, eating, having dinner with them, engaging with them on a regular basis, then kudos to you. Keep it up. I encourage you to continue to do so. But the ones that don't, I urge you really just add a little more time in. Just, a couple of extra calls, a couple of extra hugs, kisses.
Yes.
Just to show them that you care, that you're concerned, because you care when you realize other people care.
Right.
You know what I mean? You take notice. You want to look better. You want to feel better. You want to go to all your appointments. You want to keep your meds in line because someone cares also.
Right.
And they're looking out for you. So I would just really encourage people to do that. Unfortunately, there are so many seniors that are just lonely. The only people that they see are, maybe the mailman.
Right, or
the
when
FedEx.
they go to appointments.
Yeah, or appointments, or just watching TV all the time. I know I've heard of cases where they would call the paramedics, just to get that attention, just to see someone, just to get some human contact, really. Or even on a sadder note, people have been found in their homes.
Yes.
And they've been there for days, for weeks, because no one has checked up on them.
Right.
So they're in there, deceased, and no one has checked up on them. No one knows. Someone else just finds. So really, again, that's great that you do that. Please continue to do so. And I would just really encourage others to really just do a little better. I know we're very busy. We have a lot going on. But trust me, when it's all said and done,
yes,
you're going to look back on these days and say, I really appreciate, my parents for this. I'm really glad I took time for this. Yes, it was hard, or yes, I know when they get a little older, they can get a little cranky, and especially with their friends and family, who they know.
Yes.
A stranger sometimes, they'll treat a little better sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'll be
Right.
a little nicer. But trust me, that will pass.
Yes, and I always have to remember, and it's something for each and every one of us to remember, is we have to break it down so that they can understand and not talk over their head, because remember, they are in an older generation.
Right.
And the new terminology and what's going on and the bigger words, it's not connecting.
Right.
So for me, I'm telling you, I had to really, really slow down and break stuff down for them to understand. And sometimes she'll say, "I see why secretaries earn so much money and personal assistants," because it's the breaking down so that they can understand. Right. And even though I might send out correspondence on another level, I need them to be comfortable.
Exactly.
That we're finding a solution. Don't worry about, you know what, tell them to call me.
Right.
And we've caught so many things by that statement.
Wow. Yeah.
Tell them to call me.
Exactly. That's great. And at the end of the day, we have to remember also, they're our parents.
Yes.
Really. They'll always know more than we do. I don't care how smart we think we are, how big social media is, and we're so high tech, and, all these titles and whatever. They are our parents.
They know the basics. They survived it.
Right. They've been here longer.
Yes.
Okay. So not if anything else, just give them that respect.
Yes.
And just realize they probably won't be changing.
No, they're not.
So we just have to change how we handle.
Right.
The circumstance, the things they say, the things they don't say. The little remarks they make.
Yes.
Just really have to laugh and look over that, and just love them through it.
Yes.
Because trust me, when they transitioned.
Right.
When they have, done that,
Yes.
you're going to look back and smile rather than, feeling guilty or feeling bad or want to do over
Right.
because it's a little late then.
Yes, it's very late. Here's something that's very important, and I do this for me. After tax season, I have what I call a shred party.
Okay.
And I pull out my shredder and I shred even when my children were in school, any correspondence that came from the school with their names on it, the outside envelope or anything, I shredded.
Okay.
So my mom does the same thing, and that's a very important aspect in this protect section of the brochure. Save Medicare summary notices and Part D explanations of benefits. Shred the documents when they are no longer useful. That's something that we should do because there's so much information. I don't need you on documents where someone is sending me, even if it's for a credit card application, the exact spelling of my name.
Get your personal information. That's true.
Because people can get that, send that in. So I have a habit of, yes, I'll save it, but then at a certain time of year, I shred.
That's smart. Old checks, all of that. We've had cases where I've heard of people that were moving, and whoever helped them move, got their hands on their old checks.
Yes. And
used them. So you're right. Definitely shred all that personal information. And even for yourself, I mean, that's going to reduce clutter, of course.
Yes.
And it's going to help you. It won't confuse you because you'll be looking at old bills, old notices, thinking that's something current.
Right.
So it really is helpful. It's really useful.
So yeah, we definitely do the shred party, and it's a lot of work, especially when you separate the envelopes and the paper. But anything that carried my name or my children's name, and I even do it now, especially for business, I have that day and I just shred.
Okay.
So definitely that is something for all of us to think about. Just like Shawn just said, if it's someone helping you to move, we do have to get on a comfort level, but say if you have a visitor and they have someone to come with them, you might know that person, but you don't know their visitor. And a lot of times what happens is, as soon as you get to someone's house, if you got to go to the bathroom, to me, that's a red flag. Because where did you just come from? Why as soon as you walk through the door, where did you just come? Especially if I don't know you.
Okay.
And you are a complete stranger, first time coming. And another thing is, if you bring someone with you, introduce that person. Never just come in and you're a complete stranger in this person's house and you decide to have a seat.
Right.
I don't know you.
You're right.
So it's those little things that gives me red flags. And the reason why I'm like that is because with my first apartment, I befriended a neighbor. And because of the relationship she was in, it was all a ploy to become friends with me. And we left to go somewhere one day, and while we were gone, the guy she dated broke into my apartment. And it was all a ploy.
Wow.
That taught me a very, very valuable lesson
Goodness.
about who you let in your house, really know them, and then pay attention to the kind of questions that they ask you. If it's day-to-day stuff, but if they really start digging and asking questions, I want to tell you, just be careful. And you don't let anybody into that personal space of your business.
Right. Especially when they first meet you. We discuss that with seniors a lot. You just met that person at the grocery store.
Right.
And they're asking you personal questions.
Do you live alone?
Yes. And, trying to sell you something or want to take you somewhere or that sort of thing. Yes, I would definitely be leery of that.
And like you said, because our elderly are lonely, we as children, we get our own careers and our own families and we become busy. And it's sad to say, but those who sit back and devise to scheme, they scope people out.
Yes, most definitely.
And they might sit at the same grocery store for 3, and they see you all alone all the time.
Right, exactly.
And then they approach you.
That's right. Let me carry your groceries for you, or just strike up a conversation with you.
Right.
Right.
And because our elderly miss their family and their children and they're looking for that connection, they might, you know, I'm so glad to see you. I don't get to see my children, but I'm glad you're around. That's an opener for a scheme.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we must all learn to slow down and stop neglecting our elderly, because it is a huge thing. I cringe when I think about that they sit back and they scheme.
Yes, they do. They do. It's like a job, 24/7. 24/7. I had a gentleman the other day. He was telling me about. He was on his computer, and something just came across his computer, saying that he needed to contact this number.
Yes.
That he had a virus, and he had to do this immediately, so it wouldn't further damage his computer and everything. So he called the number, and the person said that they needed to clean everything out and catch this virus, and they needed his bank information to do so. So he's pretty with it.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he had a little funny feeling. So instead of giving them his regular bank account, he just gave them just another little small,
smart man,
your little small bank account on the side, not
the major one.
Right. They weren't didn't have all of his information or have access to everything that he had. So he hung up the phone and he said, I still don't feel right, and that's what we talk about, that gut feeling.
Right.
Didn't feel right about it. He immediately called the bank, and I think realized they had taken maybe like $450 out or something like that, just that quickly. Of course, he told the bank about them, and they were able to get him his money back. But that was just very common. But what was so eerie about it was not the next week, but the next day. I kid you not. It happened to my husband. He was on the computer. And that came across the screen. Call 1-800 whatever, so the virus won't impede your computer. And it went on both screens, and I said, just wait a minute. A beneficiary just told me about this.
Wow.
Don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Just chill out. And when he did, waited a while, and it just cleared up. Everything was fine. So the gentleman shared with me that this was actually out of India.
I was getting ready to say.
And they have scammed millions of dollars.
Actually, another huge place. Being in business, my spam box is inundated from Nigeria, from all kinds of places with scams.
Emails.
They will email you and say that I'm the beneficiary of this sum of money and I need to get it converted to American money.
Exactly.
Or here's one that really aggravated me. We do the breast cancer run through the business Angel Ferguson's Word Processing. When I post that that's where we are, I get emails. Yes. Tell my story. I need this. I need that. And I'm glad it goes to my spam folder, which I rarely look in there.
Mm-hmm.
But you would not be surprised that from a day to day, there's at least 10 to 15 scam emails. What I like now, and I'm not sure if your phone does it, but when my phone rings with my service that I have, it now says likely scam.
Oh, really?
Or it'll tell me that it's a scam calling. So certain numbers that have been identified as calling people for scams.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So now when my phone rings and it'll come up scam.
Oh, I love that.
So do I.
I wish some of the seniors had that. Another thing they had going around, and I thought this was quite interesting, they actually changed the person's address. So their mail can go to a P.O. box and receive their mail and filled out credit card applications, got credit cards, that sort of thing, and actually had their mail going to someplace else. I mean, just crazy. Of course, you know about the IRS calling. That's getting old now, so I hope everyone is aware of that and taking notice of that.
Yes.
Saying they're the IRS or Medicare. That's definitely a scam. And you just have to be aware. You just really have to be aware because they really will try anything. They're quite clever, and they'll try just about anything to get some information from you.
Well, let us give out this telephone number again for S&P. It is 1-877-808-2468. And we are going to have Shawn back again to discuss further just the protection and the benefits of watching over your protected information. It is very, very valuable that not just for our elderly, for us as a whole, as individuals, to protect our information, because the reality is some people just like to take from others.
Yes.
And they don't really, well, to them this is work.
Yes, yes, that's a career, unfortunately. Yes, it is.
This is their work. They don't have to pay taxes out of this right here. They cut out the middleman.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're right. You're right. They go straight for it.
And for us hardworking individuals, I know I want to protect everything that I have. And then when you have a legacy to leave for your children and your grandchildren,
exactly,
this is a part of that protection.
Right.
Because they can come and swipe everything.
Exactly. Because seniors have to realize also, we tell them this often, they paid into this. This is not anything given to them. They've worked all their lives and paid into Medicare. So you want to protect that, like you said, so generations to come will be able to benefit from it and get the proper health care. Also, before we sign off, I want to mention to guard your card again. Guard your new cards. They are coming out starting April next year.
Okay.
And we have a volunteer program. So we love, love, love volunteers. We need people to help us to get the word out.
Okay.
So if anyone is interested, call that 1-877-272-8720 or know of anyone that's interested. It has a little free time to help us get the word out. It's very simple, it's easy to do, and it's great information.
Okay, well, we are definitely going to do our part with WTI Productions, and we can add the information to our online magazine as well as the printed version. And throughout the week, we will definitely continue to give this information out. Like I said earlier, we do have some of the brochures as well as the calendars and journals that we will hand out during events. And if you would like to stop by, or if you would like us to email you or mail you a copy, our email address is afergusonwrp@yahoo.com. Our mailing address is 7402 North 56th Street, Suite A and B, Tampa, Florida 33617. And as Shawn has some upcoming events, we're going to ask her if she will get that over to us. So if you are able to attend for seminars and handouts, we will be more than happy to share that information with you.
Yes, I'll definitely come back. We have a health fair coming up. It's going to be just for you, just for seniors, and we're going to do some fun games and giveaways and give them some great information. And I would love to come back to let you know about that.
Awesome. Awesome. As we end our podcast, we thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to inviting Shawn Windless back to further tell us and teach us about protection in healthcare fraud. And as we close each podcast, stay encouraged, encouraging others along the way. Have a blessed day.